Good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are. This is David Elzy with Awaken Life TV, a program where we look every episode at how to live in the middle of everyday life, and in this case, in the middle of a new arrival on the planet, coronavirus, COVID-19. So this program is devoted, this specific episode, but all of my episodes, to how to live in the midst of daily life, all of the challenges and struggles and celebrations with a stronger solidity or stability inside. So welcome. For those of you that don't know me, I am David Elzy. I'm a mentor, teacher, and coach in living a conscious and awakened life as much as possible every day, every moment, and celebrating what we discovered deep within. So welcome to this episode. Life has changed, hasn't it? This specific episode, as most of you know, my work and everything I do in these videos and all of my work is about finding a stability inside, a place where there is a stillness that informs our action, while simultaneously acknowledging our humanness and our challenges and our fears and our emotions. So this is not what would be called spiritual bypassing, where you just act like everything is okay when internally you really don't feel that on an emotional level. So welcome. That's our exploration. Today specifically we're looking at how are you dealing with this isolation, with this home living, this home separation, this distancing from people. We're going to talk about how it's easiest and best and most productive for us to deal with being alone. Maybe this is our collective cry for let's just stop together. If that's true, now you have an opportunity to stop. Now I have to acknowledge, not all of us are alone in our apartments like I am. Many millions are, billions. But also, you may have family now. You may need to be working from home and have children to take care of because schools are closed. This is not an easy, just simply self-reflective time. It's also a time where there's going to be a heightened pressure for many of us. Some of us may have the virus without having symptoms. Some may have symptoms. Some may have the worst case scenario. Here's the point of this episode. What do we do with the isness of now? What do we do with the isness? Not trying to figure out the why-ness or the wherefore-ness or what's coming-ness, but the isness of what is. How are you processing this? Not just coronavirus, but being with yourself. Because here's the deal. When we're with ourselves more and we don't have the entertainment, the stimulation, sports events are closed down. Entertainment events are closed down. TV is showing reruns. They're not filming new material much. What do we do without this external way of escaping being with ourselves? This is the purpose of my episode today. This is what I believe the whole coronavirus is offering us, regardless of the why or the perspective of what it means. What it means ultimately is you have time with yourself. My mother says, her grandmother told her, whatever is, couldn't be any iser. Whatever is, couldn't be any iser. So what is, we are here looking at each other right now on these screens from our separate homes. So, in this moment, let's look at this for a minute. Take a breath in with me. Okay, now before you do, I want to capitalize on this moment. What is happening? I mean, literally, in this nanosecond, what's happening? We are together. Some of you wouldn't be here without this happening. Chris Call, a friend of mine from high school. This wouldn't be happening, this togetherness, even though it's on the screen. Hi, all of you who are saying hello. Togetherness is happening even though the bodies are apart. How would that have happened? I'm going to invite you right now in this nanosecond, open your heart. Don't just perceive this as you being isolated from the world. In your heart, there is no distance. There is no distance in the heart. Because there's only one heart. There's only one, I don't mean that metaphorically even. Hi, Kara. I mean literally, there's a force beating all of our hearts. There is one force of life beating all of our hearts. As you sit here looking at this screen, this metallic computer, iPad, phone, tablet, there is one voice speaking my voice, one life force animating all of this, exactly where you are in your home, in your chair, and me here on this camera and standing in my apartment. It is the same. We are unifying this. We are not unifying, we are recognizing the unified nature of existence. And that would not have happened. So what are you doing with being with yourself? So here's a little trick. I've been doing this in all of my videos, so it's not new to many of you. But one of the ways you can slow down the busy mind while you're home alone with it, one of your accompanying companions is your busy mind. What am I going to do? What am I going to worry about? And certainly there are things to worry about. There's things to be concerned about, issues to address, finances, health, etc. But it's still, how are you going to handle the isness of this present moment? That's it. So, one thing is you can do many things that you've been wanting to do. How many of you have been wanting to read a book? You haven't had time for it. How many of you have wanted to be with your children more? You didn't have time for it. How many of you have wanted to be with your spouse more, or your partner? You didn't have time. So now you have the time. What do you do? How are you? Not just what do you do, but here's the primary question. Big flashing fluorescent lights or neon lights. Not what are you just doing with them, but who are you being with them? You don't have the excuse to divert your attention now. This is a time of practice, deep, spiritual, emotional, human practice. How are you being? Either with others that you are now having to be isolated with, or with yourself. Are you taking time to breathe? Or are you always thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Are you open to this moment? Take a breath with me. Breathe in through the nose. Hold the breath for 4 seconds. Let out the breath through the nose. Do it one more time with me. Breathe in. Hold. Be present here. Breathe out. Pause. One more time. Breathe in. Hold and relax the shoulders. Exhale. Hold. One last time on your own. Hold. Notice, is your shoulders, are you holding? Are you tense? Are you holding in your lower back? This is probably happening even if the coronavirus wasn't happening and you weren't home isolated. So this is a moment of self-discovery. So in the final analysis, regardless of the reasons, this opportunity is globally for humanity to stop, to reflect inwardly. How am I being with myself, with others? Am I reading the books I want to finally read? Loving others more than I did before? Am I more sincere and authentic and present than I've ever been? Because I don't have the diversions of my attention and behaviors to cover up my being present, because I can't escape this moment. This is powerful times. These are powerful times. So this episode is devoted, and I'm going to end by reading something a friend of mine wrote, a great teacher on the planet, although he would never want to be called a teacher. He's a great guide, a pointer. His name is Jeff Foster. I'm going to read something he wrote, which I feel encapsulates everything I'm saying and really encapsulates our time. Remember this breath. It is a secret silver bullet for changing your nervous system from anxiety to rest and relaxation and clearer mind. I'm going to do it with you again. Breathe in gently and blow air out. Now through the nose, breathe in. Hold with relaxed body. Breathe out through the nose. And hold at the bottom without air. Breathe in. Hold very gently. Breathe out. Pause. If you do that 4 times, you begin to shift from fight and flight nervous system to the parasympathetic or the resting, digesting, regenerative, clear-minded nervous system. Minimum 4 times, or do it as many as you want. Okay, little tool for you. So I'm going to read Jeff now, his what he wrote, and I'll end with this. It's been a great pleasure being with you. I love each of you. I feel like this is a time when, even though we seem to be alone, maybe we can drop into the place where we're unified and actually gain new strength to make it through these times by knowing in a deep way, not a superficial or just a physical way, we are not only close in the heart, but we have the same heart beating right now. Right now. One single heart in 7 billion bodies. One life force beating our heart. The invisible silence, the force behind all of existence, is beating our heart. We are unified. Give yourself permission to open your heart and feel the emotion of this beauty, this self-recognition of who I am also you, speaking to you by the screen, by the phone. And I don't just mean in an abstract, spiritual, weird way. I mean literally, there's only one activity of life looking like all of this. Looking like you, looking like me. We are one unified reality talking to itself. We are connected. Remember that. Maybe if nothing else, let this period of time strengthen your sense of connection to other people, to nature. Maybe walk in nature more often. Even if it's around your block in the city, breathe the air, less traffic, less noise. And that's a reflection outwardly of less traffic inside, less highways of thinking. So I'm going to read Jeff's beautiful writing now. It's called None of Us Are Immune. It's going to be okay. It really is. We will face this situation together with love, humor, and patience. We will weep together. We'll laugh together. We will discover togetherness in our apartness, like I said. And the worst of it will end one day, and we will have learned so much by then. We will now be called to face very difficult feelings inside of us: fear, grief, the loss of an old way of life, our devastated plans. We will learn to face ourselves. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, nowhere to go except within. A sacred quarantine. A sacred quarantine. We will learn to face our boredom, our restlessness, the part of us that wants to be somewhere else, with someone else, doing something else, having some other experience in some other now, living in some other life. And we will let go of the wonderful future we had planned. We will let the fantasy future die. Release it and grieve it. We will return to the solidity and the warmth of the present. We'll make the present into our home. We'll begin again. Here. Build a new house, a new soil. We'll explore a new way of life. Strange at first, but full of possibility. Slower, kinder, quieter. We'll talk to each other honestly about death and life and impermanence and how we'll feel about all the changes that have come to us and our loved ones. We'll learn to value life a little more. Yes, perhaps we will learn to value life a little more. And with our hearts cracked slightly open to the elements and leaning into uncertainty, we will find our salvation there. None of us are immune to change, to rupture, to the shattering of old familiar forms. This is the way of things. This has always been the way of things. From this perspective, nothing has gone wrong. Crisis simply means a turning point, and none of us are immune from the turning. The breaking of the old makes way for the birth of the new. It has always been this way. Love, humor, patience. With these things we will come through. Stronger than before, renewed, ready. And then he sends his love, and that's by Jeff Foster. So I can't say much more than that. We will grieve together. We will maybe wail together. Maybe we will laugh together. We will recognize our connection. We will make it through. Patience is our key. Accepting our humanness, our emotions together. And finding that this is the way it's always been. Change is the way things are. That's the way of things. But there is an aspect of us which is current, always current and here. And that's our new home. So welcome home. As we deal with the changes of things. So with great love, I send this out to all of you. Please share it far and wide for people to feel inspired by the possibility of making it through this time together. Alone, in our own places, but together in our hearts. One breath in. Hold. Notice the quiet. And exhale.